Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So I'm coming at you with an extra episode this week, just because I feel called to do this. So my commitment has been in 2020. I know that the frequency of the podcast has been kind of all over. Like it's once a week, it's 5 days a week, it's 3 times a week, it's twice a week. And so my commitment to you is Mondays and Thursdays is when the episodes will now be coming out. At least for now, that is the plan. But today is you get a little bit of an extra here today. Because I feel it's important, and as much as you and I talk about bigger picture things, let's just say, right? Like the bigger lessons, the bigger vision of things, and do these 5 things, right? I think that we got to get in the weeds sometimes too. So let's talk about this. Today's episode, what's the plan? So yesterday, my oldest son Tyson, he's 9, he's in grade 4. 4th grade for my American listeners. Isn't that funny? We got a lot of differences, Canadian way we say things, Americans say, but yeah, grade 4 here, 4th grade in the US. He was on a field trip yesterday and he's kind of threatening to run off, and you know, my 9-year-old boy can be very reactive at times. It's definitely, you know, it's getting mellower as he gets older, he matures more. We talk about it lots. What are other choices? What's something different he could have done when it happens, right? And so it's a struggle for him. It's a struggle for him, the way that he's just wired. It just is. And so we know that. So we really work on it, right? And so we had this thing happen yesterday, and so they were really reluctant to let him go on this other field trip they have today, which is walking to the local rec center, which from the school is actually quite a bit of a walk. It's a good, 40 minute walk for a bunch of 9-year-old kids, right? It's probably about that. Then they skate and then they walk back, right? And so the challenge and the concern is just like, hey, we're walking there, and you know, we're on busy streets, and we can't be worrying about like Tyson's gonna run off and possibly get hurt, right? And hit by a car or whatever else could really happen. So we talked to the teacher yesterday and said, okay, we're gonna come up with a plan. Okay? And so why are we doing this with Tyson? Well, we have to know that his feelings of being like frustrated or angry, or this kind of triggering thing of like, people don't understand me, you know, they're going to do this to me, these feelings that he kind of has at times, I know is coming up for him, right? And yes, we're talking about things, we're working on those feelings and we're talking them through, and we're kind of trying to figure out what's behind some of these things, right? But, you know, they're just, it's things that he's feeling that need to be felt. And so how can we work with it? In other words, buddy, what's the plan? So if you do, okay, feel angry, because to me, to kind of just go to, whether it's a 9-year-old kid or anyone else, to say, well, just don't feel that. Just don't think that. Just avoid that. That's horseshit. This isn't about avoiding stuff in life. Listen, these things come up for us, right? To be able to see something that we need to see. There's something that's inside of that. If we avoid every single thing that's not, you know, okay with us, quote unquote okay, or it's uncomfortable in some way, well, what the hell is life even about? Avoiding everything? Like walking around like we're like that boy in the bubble? Like, no, it's not this. It's for when these things come up, we choose what we're going to do with this. We choose to be open. We choose to work through things. You know what it's like to do the things that are the hard things, and you work through them and you're like, I'm so glad I did it. Here's what I learned. Here's what I gained from that. Okay, just a really quick sidebar. I started taking cold showers in the morning. I've done cold showers before, like a little blast, like 20 seconds, kind of rinse off at the end, right? And we're not going to get a big conversation about what will happen in cold showers, but physiologically why it's a good thing to do, and like all this stuff, muscle recovery, tons of stuff. So you can go and do that research. We're not going to talk about that here, but what I will talk about is that it's this bracing of the, okay, it's going to be cold water, I'm going to breathe. I'm literally like Lamaze breathing, like through it, okay? By the way, don't use a lot of water. And no, I don't wash my hair in those showers that I do. It's a quick, soap up, rinse off, boom, I'm out. My body feels amazing afterwards. But I'm putting myself in an uncomfortable thing to gain something significant after that. You feel me? So I know that my body's going to feel amazing. I'm going to feel wide awake. I know I haven't used a ton of water. I feel kind of refreshed and exhilarated. So the moment of that uncomfortable, I'm going to gain something significant. So I'm willing to do that. Still not easy, right? So when we have these things come up in life then too that are uncomfortable, we got to have a plan for that. Okay, so what's the plan? Here's what it was for Tyson, okay? Tyson, if you're feeling angry, frustrated, upset in any way, Tyson's very tactile, very kinesthetic. He still loves his stuffies at 9 years old. I don't know if you've got kids, those squishmallow ones. They're really squishy, like a big marshmallow, squishmallow, right? And so he's got a little small one. He's got a ton of them. He's got a little small one. He calls him chocolate chip because he's looks like a chocolate chip cookie or donut or something. So chocolate chip. So I'm gonna bring chocolate chip, put him in my pocket. Great. Okay, cool. So let's have part 2 of the plan is what is going to happen, what is helpful, how can you be supported when you feel like you want to run off or not listen. And so we kind of talked about it on the ride to school this morning, and we figured out that humor is such a great way to break state, isn't it? To just kind of take you out of whatever. It was the funniest thing. Our 2 dogs, mostly our one dog, Karma, I swear to God, she, no accident, we'll be upset about something or fighting, and then suddenly Karma just walks in and just lets us fart, and we all just start laughing, right? It's just humor will break those patterns and kind of right, what are we fighting about? This is silly. I love you. I'm sorry. Okay, let's just move on. No biggie, right? You let things fall. So we figured out that humor was a great tool for Tyson to get him back on track. So I said, why don't we think of a word, buddy, where if your teacher says it, when she's noticing you're not really listening, right, or the helpers that are coming along for the field trip, when you guys are walking, that they can just know that, if they're noticing Tyson's not paying attention, as opposed to Tyson, listen, Tyson, stop doing that, Tyson, stay in line, Tyson, it's there's so much focus on don't do, let me focus on all this stuff that I don't want versus, okay, how can we just simply redirect you, buddy, right? It's not to ignore the behaviors that are not the good choices, and it's just a different way. Because Tyson's been so used to for so long because of the way that he's wired with his dyslexic brain, and he's just not a kid that's going to easily fall in line. We have to really use tools, and I know that about my boy. And so, I accept this is who he is. He has challenges with these things, so let's support him, right? So the word that he came up with, that his teacher I shared with was, and he's kind of smiling. We're talking in the car. I can see in the rearview mirror, and he's got a smile on his face. And I go, what's the word? And here I'm thinking he's going to I don't know, say a swear word or something, poop or fart. Probably something his teacher would not be, she's not going to do. But he goes, it's peanut butter sandwich. I'm okay, let's do that. So the plan is, and we'll tell your teacher, if she's starting to notice, or the helpers, that you are, not listening, or you're kind of drifting from the group a little bit, because we've got to make sure that you're safe, right, buddy? That they're just going to say, hey, Tyson, peanut butter sandwich. And he's like, yeah, I've done that before. And then it's I'll laugh, and I'll just come back, and I'll make sure I'm in the group, mommy. I'm great. Okay, so we have a plan, knowing that these things might come up. Now, he might be, I also said it was funny, because as I talked to the teacher, and that's what we discussed yesterday, and she was still kind of uncomfortable with allowing him to go, and I'm like, wait a second, I want to make sure I'm really clear. I thought it was okay. Now you're not really sure. She's like, well, it's just, they're kind of their policy, if this is what he's done before, and then safety, blah, blah, blah. And I just said to her on the way out, I said, you know what? I said, I totally hear you, and just be open to being surprised today. So I'm not saying to Tyson, hey, you're going to do this and this is what you're going to do instead. You're like creating something. He might completely surprise us and not need any of these tools. And that's fine. But if not, then we have a plan for him, right? Where he feels good. He feels like he has these tools. So when things come up, he knows what to do. And so I'm going to urge you to hear what you need to hear for you in this. What's the plan? What is something that you're trying to create? And it's like, what's the plan for that, right? What's the plan? So maybe it's something like you want to hit the gym a certain number of times or a yoga class or something. And it's like, what's the plan? And what's the plan for how you're going to go about doing it? Or something you want to create in your business or inside relationship, marriage, partnership with your children, spirituality, like whatever it is, like what's the plan? Here's what I'm doing. Here's exactly what it is. It's realistic. I can actually do that. Here's when I'm doing it. I'm going to sign up for these classes. I'm reading this thing. I'm getting up at this time, whatever the thing is. But here's the deal. This is the part B of this. What's the plan when things don't go according to plan? Well, how about we just wait until shit hits the fan, Karen, and then we'll just react. Yeah, that doesn't work so well. We've all done that, right? I know you get that. So if you know up front, and when I had the retreat experience I did this past weekend with the women that came out here to Victoria, they had set up over the next 90 days, here's what I really want to create. This is my version of my life of more. They picked 3 things that they wanted to create within their life. And then once they had that, then we then said, okay, great. What obstacles are possibly going to get in the way so that you have a plan, not when, but if they do come up. Like, that's it, right? It's like, what's the plan? What's the plan? So think of it. You might be driving to something. Maybe it's driving into work or pick up kids at school. Or, yesterday I was driving into my chiropractic office appointment, my very dear friend Craig, and there was kind of like backed up traffic. And I'm like, well, I could actually turn around and I can get another way. Like there was another way for me. Now there's an obstacle, traffic. I call and I say, hey, I'm a little bit late. I'm literally just stuck. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I might, I'll be there as soon as I can. They're like, great, no problem. But I had another kind of like, here's the backup. If this doesn't move in the next minute, I'm going to actually like do a U-E, turn around, and I'm going to come in and get there a different way, right? And so just think of it as that way. You have a backup plan. So if things don't go according to plan of what you've already planned, this could be like a drinking game. Every time I say the word plan, you take a drink. Okay, don't do that. I'm just kidding. So I'm saying the word plan over and over again. But what is the plan? How do you have things set up? And what is the plan when things don't go according to plan? So let's go right into your more tip right now. What is something that you are trying to create? Okay, in any of those areas of your life that I just mentioned before. Number 1, so there's 2 parts to this. Number 1, or we'll say part A and part B. Part A is, do you have an actual plan? I want to get fit this year in 2020, but I have no plan and I just kind of react each day. That's not a plan. That's chaos. So what is the plan that you need to put into place? Number 1, or part A. Part B, what is the plan when things don't go according to plan? So let's take something simple, like you're signing up for, 3 spin classes a week. And you go, I have these set times that I'm doing these spin classes. Well, what's the plan when something comes up, right? So I'll give you an example with me. So I have a spin class that I go to once or twice a week, and a certain instructor, and I love her. Like, I adore her. I know every single class. It's going to be great music. It's great energy. It's fun. It's a hard class. I like knowing that. To me, it's like walking into a Starbucks and knowing that I can get what I want. I'm going to get the drink that I want. Okay, if I go to another kind of coffee shop, maybe it's a bit different, but like I know that that's what I'm going to get with this instructor. I'm going to get the class that I really want and that I really need. And I'm not saying there's other classes I haven't taken. It's been a long time since I've taken any others, but it's like, to me, it feels like it's a little risky. I have, my time is very, very protected. And I don't have loads of time. I literally, from the time I drop off kids to the time I pick them up, that's my work time, that's my workout time, that's my personal appointment time. Like, I'm very intentional and conscious of the time that I have without stressing myself out, but I'm unwilling to risk, who's this instructor or what's, because I know like I need to have it where it's this time. So it happened where it's just a rare thing. She could make the class. There was a notification saying, hey, if you want to, you don't want to make the class, just let us know. It's totally okay because she can't be there. And so I had a plan when it wasn't the plan, which is like, okay, I'm going for a run today instead. That's it. Like simple, right? Simple, but important. Because then you simply know that, okay, it's going in this way. If we go back to the analogy of driving, like it's a detour. You go, okay, I'm still going to get there, but here's the detour. Here's the thing that I'm doing instead to fulfill how important it is for me to move my body every single day and to move my body like where I sweat, 3 to 4 or 5 times a week. Like it's really important to me that I have that form of movement and that I'm moving each day. That makes up me. That matters to me on many different levels. And so because that plan didn't happen with the spin class, then I had the alternative of this. Okay. And it means you don't stress about it. You don't sit there and go, oh, well, I could do this, I could do that. You have all this like mental energy trying to figure out, then you've now splayed out 10 different items or 10 different things that you can do instead. And you're like, oh God, like, it's like that opening up the fridge at the end of the day going, what are we doing for dinner? Honey, can you pick up stuff on the way home? We're going to do takeout? What does everybody else want to do? Blah, 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 blah. Versus those that meal plan, not me right now, but I've done this in times in my life where you're just like, no, it's Tuesday, we're doing this. And it might seem like when you plan these things like, oh, it takes a lot of energy. Oh, I just want to be spontaneous and go with the flow. Yeah, when you actually plan for these things, then there's no stress about it. You just go, oh, this didn't happen, then we're doing this. Cool. Done. There's no guilt. There's no like trying to figure stuff out. There's no like just wasted energy and stress and, it's like you just have a plan. So what's the plan? Part A and part B to that more tip. It's so fun. The More Club that launched in January, which I will love to have you join us, sister, has been a blast in this first month, where there's 3 bonus podcast episodes. I do a mindset training within that. I do an interview with a powerful female leader. My very, very dear friend, Jill Ethier, was on there talking about why your energy matters. She's amazing and brilliant. I'm sending out notes of love to some of the women. Shout outs on the podcast, by the way. Margaret Scott, so pumped to have you here within the More Club. I honor you being here. So Margaret had chosen a tier that actually gives her a shout out. So I let her know, acknowledge her, honor her for her commitment to herself, her investment in herself. And these are all the bonus things that are inside the More Club. Like so amazing, where we get to continue this conversation. I get to teach you some of the tools and the resources, and you have the support to create this life of more. And check this out. It begins at $2 a month. Like, I'm not even kidding you. It's ridiculous what you get inside of there. There's no reason why all of you can't be inside the More Club. Is that double negative? Yeah, let me flip that. You all need to be in the More Club, okay? So here's what you need to do. And it's only $2, $5, or $10 a month. Like, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can go in and choose the tier that's really going to serve you best and get all these amazing benefits. And I love to have you there and connect with you there. And so to join the More Club, here's what you need to do. Go to patreon.com/womenwantingmore. Patreon.com. Patreon, patreon.com/womenwantingmore. I'm not going to spell that. That's the podcast name. So patreon.com/womenwantingmore. You can choose one of the tiers. There's 3. Not a lot of choices. Easy peasy. You've got, and they're all named after amazing women, by the way. You can choose the Brene, the Ellen, or the Oprah based on your needs and start getting those amazing benefits instantly right away. Okay, so patreon.com/womenwantingmore. And the last thing I'll mention as well, too, is I've just opened up right now, or actually yesterday, 3 spots for one-on-one coaching. And this is specifically created for women that are at a point where they're stuck, they're lost, they're like at that fork in the road or crossroad, right? Where they're just saying, I've been trying, this is what I want to create. I just don't know how to do it. I've tried all these things and I'm like, I've just hit this wall. And I'm ready to like reach out for help and to get some support and I want to really have this deep dive where we roll together for 90 days and you have all the support that you need to be able to get exactly what you want by the end of those 90 days. And that's created based on what you want to create and where you're stuck in your life. Okay, I'm very good at taking women from a stuck place, being able to open things up and take a look at all the pieces that are in the way and all the deeper subconscious programming, and we can really dive deep and get you there quickly with one-on-one coaching. Okay, this is by application only because it's not for every woman, but it might just be for you, sister. So here's what you need to do. You simply send me a text message, 250-589-4811, 250-589-4811, and say, Karen, I'd like to apply. Okay, I will send you an application and we'll be off to the races on your application process. And I would love to connect with you and see if this is really a fit for you. So 250-589-4811 if you would like to apply for one of the 3 limited one-on-one coaching spots, and simply say, Karen, I'd like to apply for one-on-one coaching. And we will connect. All right, sister. I will talk to you in the next episode. A Life of More really is one step away from you having a plan for what you want to create in your life, that life of more every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.